back to the Reinvention Channel. This is Vidette Vanderweide, your host of the Reinvention Channel, as well as an author and speaker at VidetteV.com. I want to welcome you back, and today, I always say this, but I'm so excited to bring you this guest because I just find fabulous guests, and it's not me, they just come to me, and I'm so grateful for that. But today I'm bringing you one of three co-authors, I guess, of a book called Drink, Wine and Giggle, and I love that title. So let me give you a little bit of an official bio, and then we'll jump right into the interview. So as an event planner and certified professional coach and licensed Zumba instructor, Deb Mangolt brings her positive attitude and bubbly personality to turn family reunions, corporate team building events, and women's retreats into memorable and intoxicating experiences that demonstrate the power of true compassion. Her former career in corporate finance has taken her across North America, from Ohio to Tennessee to Toronto, and finally to my old hometown, Charleston, South Carolina, where she resides with her husband. A devoted hospice volunteer, member of the Charleston Center for Women, and an avid golfer and runner, Deb completed the Kiowa Island Marathon, you go girl, in less time than it takes to fly from New York to California. I think that is a pretty fantastic feat, I have to say. So help me introduce Deb Mangolt to our show. Deb, thanks for being here.
Oh, thank you so much. It's great to be here.
I
know. To meet you, finally.
Yes, finally. I know. It seems like, when someone says, okay, I'll be on the show, it's like a month before they actually get scheduled. So welcome. Give us a little bit of an idea of your journey to becoming an author of Drink, Wine and Giggle, which is such a cute title. I love the title. And I like how it came about. So you can even talk a little bit about that.
Right, absolutely. Well, I was in corporate finance for 25 years, and when I was in the corporate world, I met my two dear friends and co-authors while working at a pharmaceutical company together in Canada over 20 years ago. And we were all working in the finance and marketing areas up there, and we realized that we wanted more out of life. We weren't really satisfied with what we were doing. And then I moved to Charleston 17 years ago. And when I came here, Lynn and Julie, my two co-authors, and I would get together several times a year. And when we got together, rather than just drink, wine, and giggle, which is all our husbands thought we did when we got together, we also engaged and created games, largely inspired out of self-help books. And these activities over time started to change us. They started to show us new perspectives. They started to give us the ability to have, more confidence. And we discovered that we wanted something else out of life, and so we were able to go after that with, the backing that we had from doing those experiences and having those doing those activities and having those experiences.
What do you mean by that when you said go after what you wanted? Because it's more than that. It's like you jumped off, like we were talking about. You jumped off the ledge and left your careers.
Well, the activities are, there's 101 ways that girlfriends can connect, have fun, and be inspired. That's what Drink, Wine, and Giggle is. So there's 100 different activities that when you engage in them, they give you confidence. They allow you to see things differently, new perspectives, new, fresh insights, and it really gives you confidence that you can, do what you want you can have what you want out of life and do different things. And little by little, these steps, expanding your comfort zone, really makes a big difference. And it's just inch by inch, and it's not taking it, going from A to Z. It's going from A to B and then B to C, and it's taking these little steps, and over time we found that we could in fact have the life that we wanted because we had the tools necessary. We were able to expand our comfort zone and try new things and gain the confidence that we needed to do something different with our lives.
So I'm like, my stomach is flipping all over itself, because I love the whole idea of living our best lives is really using our whole brain, our left brain, right brain. And you guys came from really a left brain background, the linear, finance, marketing. Right. That's very left brain, analytical. And what happened, and this is exactly what I love to teach, and a big platform now that I'm stepping into is the whole brain thinking. The right brain is where our ideas come from. That's our intuition. That's where our vision and our dreams come from. But you tap into that creatively. And so what you girls were doing on your retreats was really tapping into that right brain and opening up the portal of ideas and visions.
Exactly. Because it's just like anything else. It's just like a muscle. When you start to work that muscle, work that creativity muscle, because we never thought we had creativity.
Yeah.
That's left for people who are singers and songwriters and artists, and but we found that we did have a lot of creativity. Yes. We were creating these experiences and these activities out of self-help books, and then we engaged in them, and then we realized that that there's a lot of different things that we can do, and it's really a muscle, and it's really using that creativity to again gain the confidence that you need to try something else, to try something else, and it's just a building block.
And what I love about Gerald's story too is it wasn't necessarily like you said, you made the decision, like, let's go do this and we're going to tap into our creativity and really live the life that we wanted. It was organic. And that's exactly how, when we consciously choose to tap into our right brain, then we consciously choose to create that life. Or it can happen by default, just because you guys wanted to have some fun and drink some wine, giggle, and do these activities. So can you give us a couple of examples of activities so that people get an idea of what we're talking about? We're not talking about Einstein kind of stuff.
No, in the book, because it has 100 different activities, they're short projects and excursions. The book is broken into 4 sections. There's mind, body, soul, and funny bone. And each section has 25 activities in each. So the mind section really increases your mental fitness through learning new things, through even taking something that's old and familiar and looking at it in a different way. The body activities are focusing on beauty and fashion, nutrition and exercise, but it really gets to your style, your personal style, and health is a big part of it as well. And then the soul activities encourage awareness and nourishment of yourself and contribution to others as well. And then the funny bone exercises and activities are really like the whimsical playtime child in each of us. So you abandon your self-consciousness and you just, silliness rules, and you just have fun.
Right.
But even all of those things together, but even the silliness part of it, you're getting back to your inner child. You're really able to let go of your everyday problems. And when you do even that, you discover things that that you had with you when you were a child and that left you because life gets in the way. And then you go back to that, and you rediscover the things that you enjoyed as a child. And even that can bring, when you're reminded of that in your current world, then you start thinking, well, heck, maybe I can do things differently in my life. Maybe there is a way that I can bring back the things that I really enjoyed doing as a child and bring them back to today. So, and the book is filled with different activities, different projects that get at those kinds of things. Get at creativity, learning something new, changing perspectives, and getting out of your comfort zone. So it's a lot of fun. The bottom line is fun.
Changing perspective. I have to write that down. It was funny because last night I was just preparing for our interview and looking over the book and your website, and I literally had a glass of wine, because that's what I do after my boys go to bed. And I was reading through it, and there were activities that literally made me giggle. I'm like, well, how about that? I'm drinking wine and I'm giggling. But and because some of the activities were so easy to do, but what I do love, and I really, it's not just. I don't want to give the impression that it's just like, stupid little stuff. It seems so simple, some of these things, right, but they do make drastic changes. They change perspective, and we have to change our perspectives in order to create the life that we want. If you never change your perspective from finance and marketing, that's all you would ever think you could do. But right, doing these what seem to be, some of them, silly activities really right, are the portal that opens up those ideas and the new perspectives that that's you need right, in order exactly, to make different decisions. So that's right. It's extremely critical to understand that what may seem to be a seemingly insignificant activity is so significant to how we're reprogramming our paradigms and our brain function.
Yeah, you don't really realize that at the time. Mm-hmm. You don't realize that you're really exercising your mind and your creativity at the time.
Right.
It's all happening sort of behind the scenes in your head.
Subconsciously. Mm-hmm.
And it's a building block. It's one of many things that you can do. I mean, what we're finding is women love to do these activities. They love mm-hmm, to get together with their friends. I mean, there's groups now that are doing, get together once a month and do a different activity mm-hmm, or two. And the other thing about our book, too, that I think is probably interesting is for reading, is that we also write our own giggles, our own perspectives after each activity. So we explain the activity, how to do it, and we give some background in it, and then we each, Lynn, Julie, and I, each have written our own perspective of doing that activity. So that kind of puts things into context a little bit more. You can kind of see what we got out of it and how it influenced us. And again, all of these things are just, they're fun things to do. And it, another thing too, it really gets you in the moment.
Yes.
So again, like you leave behind all your baggage, if you will, and you're in the moment. And even that alone really can open up your mind to new things, new ways of looking at things, opportunities that you might have not have seen before.
Yeah. Here was my aha. Last night it hit me, but it really didn't hit me until this morning when I was, again, preparing, and it clicked in my mind. I personally I love self-development, self-help. I've written a self-help book. I have spent thousands of dollars to invest in retreats to go, whether it be a business retreat, maybe it's a creativity retreat, maybe it's a spiritual retreat. But what I love about the spin that you girls had on, you're just what many would say, oh, I'm just going for a girls' weekend. You turned it into the name retreat. And it really hit me today. I was like, gosh, a girlfriend retreat could still be a self-development trip for me. We could still implement the same thing you're talking about, like all the activities and drink, wine, and giggle. Right. Is you pulled them from self-help and nurtured them into your own thing. But a retreat, in my mind, a retreat always has to be something that I invest in, to go learn something and to know that I'm going to improve. Whereas I can go with my girlfriends knowing that I'm going to improve myself because we're going to be doing these activities.
Right, and I think we have something unique there in that because it's like group help. It's not self-help.
I love that. Yes.
You're by yourself and you're on your own. So you've got these books that you're reading, these self-help books, and you're feeling this pressure of doing these things that might not feel right to you.
Yeah.
You have to get out of your comfort zone to do them. But if you do them in the company with your girlfriends and your girlfriends are doing the same thing as you are, then it's a lot easier. So it's kind of group self-help in a way. It's group help.
Yeah. And to take this a step further, what I wrote down as you were talking, and the self-help books, there's still that place where you have to figure out how to implement that activity or that thing that thinking into your brain. And what you shared earlier was after you all would do an activity, you then write your perspective. What was your experience with that activity? And I would imagine, obviously, you get 3 different perspectives, but then you can start to talk about, all right, now how do we take this home with us, or how do we implement this once we're home, and the kids and the husbands and the house and all of that. So I love, that was the other thing. Glad you said that, because I wanted to bring that up. It's group help as opposed to self-help. But it's with a glass of wine and with your girlfriends and your jammies in front of a fire or whatever. Like, how fun.
It's a very safe environment.
Yeah.
It's a very supportive, safe environment. So you're doing these things together.
Yes.
You know, you don't feel like there's something wrong with you.
Right.
When, you know, a lot of times when we read self-help books, we're doing it because we want to fix something.
Yes.
And this is done in such a way, and it covers the gambit of self-help too, topics. I mean, we've got things in there on vision boarding, on setting objectives, on gratitude, on finding forgiveness, on expanding your comfort zone, on learning new things, changing perspectives. It really covers the gambit of self-help that's available and that's out there.
And I love that you already said, but it's split into mind, body, soul, and funny bone. It's like, it just encompasses everything that you know, I believe in, mind, body, and soul. If it's not balanced, it ain't right.
That's right. That's
you
right.
know? So where do you see this going? What is your vision? What as for you, you're the 3 girls, women, I should say. What's your vision for Drink, Wine, and Giggle?
Well, what we're finding, again, Vidette, is that the response has been overwhelming. People love it. And we are now getting calls from different women organizations to come and do activities for them. We've got a couple icebreakers for women getaways that we're doing. We're involved in book clubs. We're involved in wine boutiques and doing activities for their ladies' nights. So we're getting a lot of people that want to have our activities at their function. So we're actually helping people put together some things that we can do for them. Also, we're hoping to, we've got a very robust website.
Yes, you do.
Which is called drinkwineandgiggle.com. And there is activities in our blog on that website. We're also looking at writing another book, and maybe this time spin it toward families so that families can do some activities together and put the technology aside and get back to some old-fashioned fun. And we're actually talking about doing a board game now, too, that
Very
you can
cool.
do with your girlfriends. And I think that could be a lot of fun, too. So, again, it's sort of self-help in disguise.
Yes.
But I think it'll be a whole lot of fun.
How has it changed your life? How has it reinvented your life from the days of, finance and marketing and all of that?
Oh my gosh. Well, for me personally, when I was a child, I grew up in Toledo, Ohio, and I had 2 brothers and 2 sisters in the neighborhood full of kids. And so I used to create games for the neighborhood. And in fact, I remember when I was 10 years old, I started this, I called it summer school for all the kids in the neighborhood. And, I would create games and activities for them to do. We got together once a week. And then I got, away from that because I went to school, I got a degree in business, and I started my career, which was a great career in corporate finance, but something was missing. So a few years ago, that career ended mutually. And at that time, I could have gone back and looked for another finance job, but I said, no, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to figure out what I really want to do. And I wasn't sure at that time, so I tried different things. I tried, I volunteered a lot. I volunteered at sporting events and medical facilities, and I worked with some small businesses. And then my girlfriends and I started writing this book together based on the things that we had done in the past. And I realized through actually writing the book that, what it was missing in my life was the gamer in me. I love to create these games, and it was always there, right in front of me.
Yes.
It was always there, and it wasn't really until I started thinking about my past and my childhood, the things that I like to do. I mean, I've planned weddings before. I've planned family reunions. So I'm like, all of this is sort of a natural.
Yeah.
But I didn't see it as something that I could make my life around. I just saw it as something I kind of like to do. I almost kept it separate in my mind, because in my mind, it wasn't a 9-to-5 job. You know, I wasn't leaving the house and I wasn't getting a paycheck from somebody. So to me, it didn't really seem that it was going to be a viable solution for me. And then it hit me that this is exactly what I meant to do.
Yes, I'm about to jump out of my seat, because what you just said is such a golden nugget to people who watch this, who might be unfulfilled in a job, might be unfulfilled with where they are in their life, or just not necessarily unfulfilled all the time, but just that has the knowing that there's something more. And the biggest thing is that typically the one thing that we are meant to do is the thing that comes so easiest to us, or the thing that we negate and say, well, you can't make a business out of that, or you can't be successful with that. You figured out how to take your ability to create games into a book, into a self-development empire now almost. It's going in that direction, and it was something that was innate in you that you put into place as a kid. And typically that's the very thing that we can just look at. What did you do as a kid? Exactly. That's typically what you're meant to do, but we just bury them, and we take the safe route. We go to school, we get the good job, we build the career, and then we're like, what? This ain't fun.
That's right, exactly.
So I love what you just did. And I like that you tried different things. You said you came out and you tried different things. You volunteered. You at least took a step to find that thing, whatever it was, and what finally came to you was obviously what your passion is, but you at least went in the direction of finding your path.
Well, I think that I always say you have to get off the start button. You know, you've got to get off start. No matter what you do, take a step. It might not be what you want to do, but you're doing something which different. Is much better than staying put in your safe haven.
Yes.
Really need to take a step, get off the start button. For me, it wasn't a direct route. I didn't think, oh, okay, I got it all now, and I know what I want to do, and now I'm going to go that way. It takes a different route. It's very interesting how, for example, I tried event planning. I tried planning weddings and different things, and it really I liked it, but it wasn't exactly what I wanted to do. It was close. I was getting closer. I knew I was getting closer, but I didn't find the niche until you just keep developing. You keep taking the step, and you'll get there, but you just have to kind of. It's a combination of you taking steps toward it and it meeting you halfway, I think. Because I think that it will come to you, but you have to also take steps to get there. And then I think when the two come together, then that's when you've got what you're meant to do.
Yes. Yeah. And that's exactly what, my message of reinvention is exactly what you said. It's not a straight line. So when you go this way and you hit the wall, that's when we reinvent, because we realize, event planning isn't quite it. I'm getting closer. Right. Now I need to reconnect with who I am, what I want, what is it I want my life to look like. I need to refine what I'm doing. Now I'm going to start zigzagging in this direction.
Right.
When I hit that wall, all right, that's not quite right. I'm going to reinvent myself, reconnect with myself, refine. It's a process, but
it's a process.
The reinvention part is the being okay with saying, okay, this isn't the right direction, but now I'm going to switch direction and go another way. So,
well, and the good thing about that, too, I think, is that it keeps your mind open for opportunities and possibilities if you know that. So if you get it in your head that, if I had gotten it in my head that I was going to be an event planner, and that was all there was to it, and I was going to do it, and that was my goal, then I would have missed opportunities that came up that said, oh, wait a minute, I think I like this better. I think I want to do this for a minute and see what that feels like. If I didn't have that open mind while I was trying to figure out what I wanted to do, I would have missed these things. So I think you've got to be willing to do things that you might not think you want to do. I think you've got to be willing to take chances.
Yes.
And they're just little, baby steps, but at the same time, they add up.
They're big. Yeah. It's like compound interest, being in finance, right. Compound interest is, baby steps compound over time to create something huge. So right. I think that's a really great point to end on. So we can find you and the book and your co-authors at drinkwineandgiggle.com. I highly recommend. You said it was a robust website. It is. It's got so many great tools that you can tap into. The book you can purchase the book there. It's a beautiful. It's a warm website. I'm big on websites, so when I go there, I'm always like, ooh, or I'm like, oh, I love it, and I felt at home there. So it is a robust website. So thank you for that.
Thank you.
So, Deb, thank you so much for sharing your words of wisdom for women who might be watching this and want to be inspired by someone like yourself who has reinvented and done it with her girlfriends while drinking wine and giggling. I love it.
The best.
I love it. So
the best of all worlds.
I know. It doesn't get any, or how does it get any better than that, I should say. So I want to thank you, Deb, again for being here. And for all of you watching, I want to thank you for tuning in to the Reinvention Channel. Please go visit Deb and her girlfriends over at drinkwineandgiggle.com, and we will see you on the next Spotlight interview. See you then.